Some women never realize they were being manipulated until the damage is already done. Not because the signs were invisible. Because the manipulation felt like love. That's what makes it dangerous. The most effective manipulators do not control women with force. They control them with emotions. And the scariest part? Many of them look confident, charming, reliable. Exactly the kind of man a woman thinks she can trust. It usually starts small. A text. A compliment. An intense connection that feels almost too perfect. He remembers everything she says. He gives attention at exactly the right moments. He makes her feel special. Different. Chosen. But this is where the trap begins. Because some men understand something most people don't. People become attached to what they emotionally invest in. So instead of giving constant attention, they create emotional highs and lows. One day he is fully present. The next day he disappears. No explanation. No warning. Suddenly she starts wondering. What happened? Did I do something wrong? Now her mind is no longer focused on her life. It is focused on him. This is called emotional uncertainty. And uncertainty creates obsession. The less predictable he becomes, the more she thinks about him. Not because she loves him. Because her brain wants answers. And manipulators know this. But it goes deeper. Much deeper. Some men use vulnerability as a weapon. At first, he shares painful stories. Talks about betrayal. Heartbreak. Past trauma. She feels empathy. She wants to help. Protect him. Support him. Then something strange happens. The relationship slowly becomes one-sided. She keeps giving. He keeps taking. Every conversation becomes about his problems. His struggles. His emotions. And she starts carrying emotional weight that was never hers to carry. Without realizing it, she becomes responsible for keeping him happy. That responsibility becomes a chain. Another manipulation tactic is guilt. And guilt is powerful. Imagine this. A woman wants space. Maybe she needs time with friends. Maybe she wants to focus on work. A healthy man respects that. A manipulative man makes her feel bad for it. He says things like, "I guess I'm not important to you. Do whatever you want. I thought we were closer than that. Notice what happened?" He never directly tells her not to leave. Instead, he makes her feel guilty for wanting normal freedom. The result? She stays. Not because she wants to. Because she feels responsible. That's not love. That's emotional pressure. Then comes another dangerous tactic. Isolation. And it rarely looks obvious. He doesn't say, "Stop talking to your friends." That would be too easy to spot. Instead, he criticizes them. Questions their intentions. Creates conflict. Plants doubts. Little by little, trusted people disappear from her life. Now he becomes the primary source of emotional validation. And when someone controls your validation, they control your emotions. But there is one tactic that may be the most effective of all. Future promises. Because people do not live only in the present. They live in the future they imagine. Manipulative men know this. They talk about future vacations. Future homes. Future plans. Future commitment. Everything sounds beautiful. Everything sounds serious. But the actions never match the words. Months pass. Sometimes years. And she keeps holding on. Not because of what he has done. Because of what he promised. She is emotionally attached to potential. Not reality. That distinction changes everything. Because potential can keep people trapped longer than facts. Now here's where things become even more complicated. Some manipulators do not realize they are manipulating. They learned unhealthy patterns. They grew up watching emotional games. Control became normal. Manipulation became communication. They aren't always evil. But the damage remains the same. Intent does not erase consequences. And this is why emotional intelligence matters. Because manipulation survives where awareness is missing. The moment someone understands these patterns, the spell starts breaking. Suddenly the behavior becomes obvious. The disappearing acts. The guilt trips. The emotional roller coaster. The empty promises. Everything begins to make sense. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Here's an uncomfortable truth. Manipulation works because it often gives people what they secretly crave. Attention. Validation. Excitement. Hope. The problem is that these feelings come with a hidden price. Freedom. Peace. Self-respect. Confidence. The longer someone stays inside emotional manipulation, the more they lose touch with themselves. Their decisions become emotional. Their standards become weaker. Their boundaries become blurry. And that's exactly what manipulators want. Because strong boundaries are difficult to control. This is why emotionally healthy people are harder to manipulate. They pay attention to actions. Not words. Consistency. Not promises. Behavior. Not excuses. They understand that attraction without respect is dangerous. Chemistry without trust is risky. And attention without accountability means nothing. The strongest people are not the ones who never feel emotions. They are the ones who refuse to let emotions blind them. Because emotions can lie. Patterns rarely do. If someone constantly confuses you, pay attention. If someone repeatedly makes you feel guilty for normal behavior, pay attention. If someone creates drama whenever you set boundaries, pay attention. Those moments reveal character. Not the charming speeches. Not the romantic promises. Not the perfect words. Character appears when someone does not get what they want. That's when the truth shows up. And that truth often changes everything. At the end of the day, manipulation survives in darkness. It grows when people ignore red flags. It grows when people excuse bad behavior. It grows when emotions overpower reality. But the moment awareness enters the picture, manipulation starts losing power. Because control only works when someone doesn't realize they are being controlled. The strongest response is not revenge. It is clarity. The strongest victory is not changing the manipulator. It is seeing them clearly. Because once you see the game, you stop playing it. And when you stop playing it, their power disappears. Not with a fight. Not with an argument. But with something far more dangerous. Your awareness.